Sri Lanka is in the news again, but this time it's not for the beaches or tea. Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel, Primetime TV. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to never miss an update from us. You might have seen that Sri Lanka is in the news again, but this time it's not for the amazing beaches or delicious tea. It's because of all the political turmoil going on in the country. A lot of people are asking where the Rajapaksas are and what they're up to. So in this video we're going to break it all down for you and give our opinion on what's happening. The Rajapaksa family. Sri Lanka was once ruled by the Rajapaksa family for nearly a decade, but now they are nowhere to be seen in the country's political landscape. So what happened? The Rajapaksas were first brought into power in 2005 when Mahinda Rajapaksa became president. His brother Basil quickly followed and held several powerful positions within government, including Defense Secretary and Economic Development Minister. This concentration of power resulted in corruption scandals, with many accusing their rule as authoritarian and oppressive. The Rajapaksas' time in power ended in 2015, when then opposition leader Maithripala Sirisena was elected as president. Since then, the family has slowly been pushed out of political life, with Mahinda losing his seat in parliament and Basil facing charges of financial mismanagement. But this isn't the end of their story. The Rajapaksa brothers made a comeback, albeit in different ways. In 2019, Mahinda ran for office again, but lost to challenger Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who is not related to him by blood, but is still considered part of the family due to his close ties with them. Rajapaksa was re-elected president by an overwhelming majority on the promise to improve the economy and increase national security in the wake of the Easter Sunday bombings that murdered 270 people in churches and hotels, and were inspired by the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, ISIS, and ISIL. But the worst economic crisis in the country's history was caused by policy mistakes like drastic tax cuts that lowered national income and lowered credit ratings, a ban on agrochemicals ostensibly to promote organic farming, and the release of scarce foreign currency to artificially control exchange rates. Sri Lanka owes more than $51 billion to international creditors, $28 billion of which is due by 2027. What's been happening in Sri Lanka? Earlier this year, the whole Rajapaksa clan was forced to quit from power after violent protests across the island nation were held against them for causing the greatest economic catastrophe since independence in 1948. Violence broke out across the country on May 9 after supporters of Mahinda Rajapaksa attacked anti-government protests, prompting the resignation of the president. Several dozen political families' homes were set on fire. The Rajapaksas were among them. It was necessary for the military to rescue Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa from his official mansion, Temple Trees, which had been surrounded by protesters. A naval outpost in Trincomalee, in the country's northeast, served as his safe haven. A Colombo court has also issued an order preventing him from leaving the country. There were violent protests after former president and prime minister Mahinda Rajapaksa resigned on May 9, resulting in at least 9 deaths and over 200 injuries. 58 of his government co-workers have had their homes burglarized or set on fire. Mr. Wickrem Singh, a member of the opposition and a long-standing opponent of the Rajapaksas, succeeded Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa as Prime Minister. After fleeing to the Maldives in the middle of July, Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa eventually made his way to Singapore, where he resigned on July 14. Subsequently, he took a flight to Thailand in search of short-term safety. According to the constitution, Mr. Wickremesinghe automatically assumed the presidency for the remaining 2 years of Gotabaya Rajapaksa's term, which would end in 2024. Legal action was taken against demonstrators for violent seizure of governmental buildings during the protests, and the demonstrations ended with Mr. Wickremesinghe's inauguration as president. On September 3, Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa also came back to Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, the people's problems persisted, as India had reached the end of its credit-giving capabilities. It was obvious that debt restructuring would take time, and the IMF's bailout package, which was related to debt restructuring, was not expected to be implemented anytime soon. Most Sri Lankans and lawmakers in parliament believed that a change of administration, with the departure of both Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe, would be beneficial. The general demand was for an all-party administration rather than a patchwork under Vikram Singh, whose political legitimacy was called into question because he was a nominated MP rather than an elected one. The future of Sri Lanka is presently exceedingly uncertain. It will be difficult to build an all-party government because the parties in parliament are so diverse, with each in fierce conflict with the others. There is no clear leader to bring the numerous organizations together under one banner. Because of the uncertainty, the IMF package will be delayed, international help may halt, and foreign investment will be redirected. In other words, the removal of Rajapaksa and Vikram Singh does not end Sri Lanka's problems. It may, in fact, initiate an even more severe crisis in the following weeks. So what does the future hold for Sri Lanka? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: it's over for the Rajapaksa family. What are your opinions on the current happenings in Sri Lanka? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for tuning into Prime Time TV. See you next time.